Mala fl-studio Julian Jaeger, Chief Executive Malta International Airport. Julian Jaeger, welcome to Reporter. As Chief Executive of MIA, you have obviously come at an interesting but also difficult moment. If you had to talk about the difficulties just now that all airports are facing, but most especially MIA, how would you look at them? How would you classify them?
No, I think we had very good years. So 2007 was a record year with 3.1 million passengers. And obviously, the crisis already started in 2008, summer 2008, where the aviation industry was hit by the very high oil price. And obviously afterwards, followed by the worldwide economic crisis, the credit crunch. So it's a very difficult year. 2009 is for the whole industry and worldwide a difficult year, but as well in Malta. So the tourism industry, and we see us as part of the tourism industry in Malta face a very difficult situation. The objective is obviously to come back on the growth, on the path of growth from recent years. 2007 being plus 10%, 2008 being already hit by the crisis, but still up 5%. So we want to get back on the path of growth by 2010, and there are certain things we are doing about it. We are in a very good relation with all our airline customers. We are.
Let me just stop you here for a second.
Yes.
If you had to look at the way we have taken the crisis in terms of, I'm talking now about MIA. How has it taken the crisis? Has it been hard hit, or would you say that on a 1 to 10 you're 6? How would you look at the impact of the crisis?
I think we have to distinguish two things. One is Malta being hit as a tourism destination, and the other thing is MIA PLC and what we are doing about the crisis. Let me talk first about the passenger numbers.
Very, very briefly, obviously, very important. Yes,
yes. We are trying, and together with MTA, I think we are doing, considering the circumstances, a good job to attracting airlines and capacity to Malta. In fact, this summer we will have more or less the same capacity in the air as last summer. Secondly, we kept our prices constant since 2006, so our airport charges have not increased. The opposite, we have introduced in 2007 an incentive scheme and spent last year already €1 million actually on new routes to new destinations. So we are trying to keep the capacity there, and I think next year we hope to have even more capacity than in 2009. Secondly, MIA PLC. Obviously, and this is something where we are fighting the crisis mainly by differentiation. So we are trying to increase our non-aviation revenues. So we've started already in 2007 investing quite heavily within the terminal.
Welcome to this. This is a very short program, so I have to really hurry up. But there are 2 points I would like to bring up, which you have just mentioned. One is attracting more airlines. So I'd like to ask you about that. What have you done to attract more airlines? How have you got more airlines? And maybe you could also very briefly also talk about the controversy with Ryanair that sometimes comes up in the press. So very briefly about this.
No, I mean, we are visiting airlines there, we are visiting fairs and conferences worldwide to get in direct touch and actually market Malta and put together with MTA a good package for airlines to come to Malta. And in fact, right now, EasyJet started Newcastle, Ryanair will start some new routes. So this worked in the last few years quite well.
With Ryanair, what's the situation? They are not very easy to deal with. As maybe an understatement, maybe I'm exaggerating.
Look, personally, I admire the Ryanair business model. It's successful. They managed to change the aviation world in Europe, no doubt about that. Wherever they go, they bring growth. I agree with you entirely, they are not easy to handle. I think we offer a very good product, and therefore our charges are more than justified. As I said, they haven't changed since 2006. What can you get in Malta for the price of 2006? I think hardly anything. They already operate very successfully routes to Malta. We want them to grow. I think there's a lot of potential in Spain, in Scandinavia, maybe partly in Italy, where there could come growth from Ryanair. We are willing to support those new routes, and we definitely ask the other stakeholders in Malta to join us and make this actually happen.
You talk about increasing revenue at MIA PLC, not from now airlines, but from other operations. And this is very evident. Anybody who goes to the airport will realize that it's buzzing. It is not a small, but it is, in Maltese terms, there's a lot of business going around. What are you doing there in this sphere?
No, again, this is twofold, I would say. First, we want to deliver first-class quality to our passengers. Our objective is to be the best Mediterranean airport in our class, meaning airports up to 5 million passengers, and I think we are quite on a good way. And secondly, we increase the space significantly, but not only for commercial purposes, as well for our passengers. We will increase in just a week's time our seating capacity within the terminal by 40%. I think we've increased significantly the comfort, and at the same time we want to increase our revenues by larger shops, by bigger shops, by more variety of shops.
A curious question: when the people came to build the airport in the early 90s, they obviously did not see what you are seeing today. The people who return to MIA today and redesign the space, do they have a very big headache, or do they find a construction which is conducive to changing things?
I think MIA, the airport as such, is a beautiful piece of architecture, and that was my first impression when I came 2002 the first time to Malta as a tourist. I think our people, the technical department, our consultants, our architect have done a very good job to fit in all those changes within the original architecture of the airport, and I think we managed quite well to improve the comfort for the passenger, to improve our potential revenues from commercial activities, and at the same time don't jeopardize the beauty of the building as such.
The other last two questions I want to try and put to you is with regards to the post-privatization process. In terms of revenues, how has MIA changed the whole concept of the whole structure of revenues at MIA? Very briefly, if you can.
No, I think one can have two opinions if an airport, if infrastructure like MIA should be privatized, but I think the example of MIA is a very successful example. Before privatization, government didn't get any dividends from MIA. Since privatization, government got 12 million euros in dividends, 38 million euros in taxes, and for the sale of the 80%, government made 160 million euros. So I think overall the balance for the Maltese public is very positive. At the same time, the comfort was increased. I think MIA offers more now better comfort for its passengers, but for the locals as well, than prior privatization. And at the same time, we invested a lot of money. Alone since 2005, we invested 25 million euros, both in the capacity airside and in the terminal. So, which is, I think, an important factor as well for the Maltese economy. 30 seconds, very, very briefly. Future of MIA, how do you see it? I see MIA as a buzzing place, as you said, as an entity where people like to come even when they are not traveling, and at the same time growing. We and Malta needs more passengers, needs more tourists, and that's how I see the future of MIA. Julian Jaeger, thank you for coming to Reporter. Thank you.